The NASCAR world didn't see this one coming. Richard Childress Racing just made a bold move involving Kyle Busch, one that's turned heads across the garage and sparked fresh debate about what's next for both the driver and the team. In a move that's sent waves through the sport, Richard Childress Racing, RCR, has confirmed it will continue its partnership with two-time Cup Series champion Kyle Busch through the 2026 season. After months of speculation about Busch's next step, this extension signals more than just loyalty. It's a statement about RCR's direction and Busch's determination to stay in the fight for another title. Richard Childress himself, a figure synonymous with NASCAR excellence, stood proudly beside Busch during the announcement, exuding confidence in what the future holds. "We're proud to continue our relationship with Kyle Busch and remain focused on our shared goals of winning races and championships together," Childress said. "Kyle is a tremendous racer and ambassador of the sport for our fans and partners." This partnership began in 2023 when Busch, after a 15-year run with Joe Gibbs Racing, made the bold decision to join RCR, the reunion with Chevrolet, and the new challenge of driving the number. 8-car marked a significant shift in his career trajectory. And while his initial campaign with RCR brought 3 Cup Series wins and numerous top 5 and top 10 finishes, a championship remained elusive until now. For Busch, the extension is about more than just job security. It's a testament to the mutual trust that's developed between him and Childress. "It's an honor to race for Richard Childress, our partners, and Team Chevy fans," Busch said. "I feel like my family and I have found a home at RCR. My chapter here is not yet complete." RCR has long been a force in NASCAR. From its humble beginnings in 1969 to becoming the first team to win championships in the Cup, Xfinity, and Truck Series, the organization's legacy is interwoven with the history of the sport itself. And now, with Childress continuing to invest in cutting-edge engineering, high-caliber personnel, and elite drivers, the team is retooling for another run at dominance. Busch's time at RCR has not been without its challenges. After a promising start in 2023 with 3 victories in the first 16 races, a 69-race winless streak cast doubt on whether the partnership was delivering as intended. But insiders at RCR insist that changes behind the scenes, new leadership, revamped engineering, and better resource allocation are setting the stage for a resurgence. Team president Mike Verlander, formerly of Kyle Busch Motorsports and Stewart-Haas Racing, is one of the key figures behind this transformation. Alongside Vice Chairman Tori Galita, new Technical Director John Klausmeyer, and Crew Chief Richard Boswell, working with Austin Dillon, the leadership team is forging a new identity, and Busch is at the center of that evolution. "This has extended our contract out another year, and we're really excited," Childress emphasized. "Kyle has been great to work with. I love a driver that doesn't like to lose." Busch, known for his fiery temperament and unrelenting drive to win, acknowledged the adjustments. "When I first joined, I feel like there were some things that we were doing within the rules at that time that got us some extra speed, and then there was definitely some things that came down that they didn't like us doing." Still, his faith in the team remains unshaken. "It's just a matter of being able to continue to work with the people that are there. It's a great culture. I enjoy working there. I fit in well there. They enjoy having me here." At 40 years old, Busch isn't the youngest driver in the garage, but his experience and versatility make him an invaluable asset to RCR. Over 2 decades of Cup Series racing, he's amassed 63 wins, and his instincts remain razor-sharp. More than that, he's grown into a mentor and teammate. His collaboration with Austin Dillon, grandson of Richard Childress, has helped elevate the number. 3 teams' performance as well. "Austin's been a fantastic teammate," Busch said. "We talk a lot about the same things and describe them similarly. He's been a good resource." Dillon echoed the sentiment. "I feel like Kyle Busch gives you what you expect, which is that he's a hard worker. He's fiery. He wants the best for the cars. He wants to get to victory lane constantly and will push everyone to figure out how to make that happen, even himself on the track." It's no surprise, then, that this extension wasn't just a formality, it was strategic. With NASCAR's current landscape filled with uncertain contracts and team reshuffles, locking in a driver of Busch's caliber is a powerful statement. RCR isn't playing for participation, they're aiming for titles. While William Byron secured a 4-year extension with Hendrick Motorsports in May 2025, locking him in through 2029, The rest of the 2025 to 2026 driver market remains relatively quiet. Daniel Suarez is set to leave Trackhouse Racing after this season and is confirmed to join Spire Motorsports for 2026, while AJ Allmendinger has a short-term deal with Hailie Racing, and his long-term future remains undetermined. From the perspective of NASCAR fans, this move also reignites interest in one of the sport's most enigmatic talents. Busch remains a lightning rod, loved by some, reviled by others, but there's no denying his impact on and off the track. His continued presence in the number 8 car keeps RCR firmly in the spotlight. Moreover, Busch's goal isn't just to extend his career. He wants to cement a legacy at RCR. We have certainly had our battles. It's been fun yet challenging. This sport is very tough, and we know those areas in which we can improve behind the wheel, Busch stated. That belief is echoed across the organization. Richard Childress, a man who once traded punches with Busch in their now infamous 2011 altercation, now sees him as a vital pillar of the team's future. Their relationship, once marred by conflict, has evolved into mutual respect and shared ambition. One of the lingering questions is whether Busch can finally capture another title in an RCR car. It's been nearly a decade since his last championship, and the competition has only gotten tighter. But as the sport continues to evolve, with new talent like Tyler Reddick, Connor Zilisch, and Shane Van Gisbergen rising through the ranks, Busch's wisdom and racecraft remain unmatched. And let's not forget, Busch is still chasing his first Daytona 500 win, one of the few accomplishments missing from his illustrious resume. The hunger is there. The infrastructure at RCR is improving. And now, with contract stability through 2026, all the pieces are being set into place. Beyond wins and trophies, the extension also means continued synergy with Chevrolet and its broader motorsports network. This alliance strengthens RCR's technical capabilities and marketing reach. Chevrolet's belief in Busch remains steadfast, and having a driver of his pedigree continues to pay dividends both on the track and in brand loyalty. Ultimately, this move underscores RCR's commitment to competitiveness. By securing a proven winner, investing in infrastructure, and nurturing a culture of resilience and ambition, the organization is positioning itself not just for the 2026 season, but for a legacy that extends well beyond. Kyle Busch isn't just back. He's locked in, focused, and ready to shake up the NASCAR grid once more. And with Richard Childress at the helm, RCR may be on the cusp of a renaissance that echoes its golden years, with Dale Earnhardt. The stage is set, the contracts are signed, and now the race toward championship glory begins anew. As the engines roar to life in 2025 and beyond, the entire NASCAR world will be watching the number 8 car, because the story of Busch and Childress is far from over. In fact, it may be just getting started.
A lot of days of practice. Ever since he's a little kid, built up to that point.
Into the move underneath. 3 coming out of turn 2. That is crazy. 3, this is down to the last turn.
Hailie Deegan was supposed to be NASCAR's next big star, but then she left, and what she said about the sport shocked everyone. Why would someone with her talent walk away at the peak of her career? The real reason might change how you see racing forever. Hailie Deegan loved to move fast and compete. When she was just 8, she started racing go-karts while other kids played with toys. That choice put her on a path not many girls had taken. Her dad, Brian Deegan, was a famous motocross rider and off-road racer, so racing was part of her everyday life. She quickly got into dirt bikes and trucks, and she didn't just race, she won. Growing up in Temecula, California, Hailie had motorsport in her blood. Her father, Brian Deegan, made a name in freestyle motocross, off-road trucks, and rallycross. Racing wasn't some weekend hobby, it was everyday life. She began riding dirt bikes and karts at 8, plunging into off-road racing and short-course trucks. She didn't just participate, she dominated. In 2013, she became the first female driver to win a championship in the Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series when she won the Junior 2 karts class. By 2016, she earned the Driver of the Year honor, standing out even among veteran off-road competitors. And yet, the asphalt world beckoned. The roar of stock car engines, the high-stakes oval tracks, even though it meant leaving the comfort of dirt and trucks. In 2016, she made the shift, determined to build a career where few young women had succeeded. When Hailie moved into the badge-bearing world of stock cars, everything changed. The cars were different. The the lights were brighter, the expectations were heavier. In 2018, she entered the NASCAR K&N Pro Series West with the team Bill McAnally Racing, carrying not only her own ambitions but the legacy of her family's name. And then she made history. On the 29th of September 2018, she won the Napa Auto Parts Idaho 208 at Meridian Speedway, becoming the first female driver ever to win in the K&N Pro Series. It wasn't an easy win. She passed on the final lap, taking advantage of a late spin ahead. She led only one lap, but the moment marked a turning point. She didn't just win, she carved a place in history. Yet the win also heightened expectations and scrutiny. As the female driver in a male-dominated sport, her every move was watched. Some cheered, some doubted. For Hailie, the win was proof but also a challenge. Now everyone would ask, can she do it again? After her success in the regional series, Hailie's focus turned to the national stage. In 2021, she entered the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series with David Gilliland Racing, driving the #1 Ford. But the Truck Series is no gentle stepping stone. Close quarters, heavy contact, strategy, and survival all mix in ways that punish mistakes. For Hailie, the aggressive driving style that once helped on dirt had to adapt. She had to learn patience, positioning, how to deal with being roughed up, and how to fight back without losing control. The spotlight was brighter and the pressure immense. She faced not just other competitors, but the subtle currents of a sport still adjusting to a young woman making her mark. Her results showed potential top 10s, developmental gains, but the wins she aimed for still eluded her. She learned fast that talent alone wasn't enough. Opportunity, resources, timing all mattered. By the time the 2024 season ended, the whispers had grown loud. Despite her early promise and undeniable following, Hailie's NASCAR journey was stalling. Sponsors had expectations, teams had budgets, wins matter, and though she had made history, the results weren't coming in the way everyone hoped. It took guts to face the truth. You can have the backing, the name, the following, but racing demands more than dreams. The weight of expectation, the cost of racing, the sacrifices of travel, nights away, constant pressure, they all combined. Hailie had spoken about the grueling nature of the NASCAR schedule, about nights arriving home at 5 in the morning, about barely any time to recover. The toll is real. And so she made the bold decision, not to give up, but to change the game. She would leave the familiar world of NASCAR tracks and step into something different, something riskier, something which promised a new kind of challenge. Because she believed the true test of a racer isn't how you handle the good times, but how you reinvent yourself when the path ahead changes. In 2025, Hailie joined Indy NXT, formerly known as Indy Lights, with HMD Motorsports, a full-on move into open-wheel racing. Open-wheel is a different animal. No windshield, no power steering in many cases, high downforce, precision, minimal room for error. Hailie said herself, "The wind is brutal, the helmet lifting in the straightaways, the input smaller, the sensitivity greater." She described how in stock cars everything feels steady, whereas in open wheel you feel everything. The environment demands total focus. She also embraced the physical side. Whereas NASCAR allows cooling suits and has some driver comforts, Indy NXT demands peak fitness. She said she loved fitness, having built strength in her two-wheeled and off-road background, and now she could bring it fully. The more fit you are, the faster you'll go. That mantra now had new meaning. But open wheel doesn't just test the body, it tests the mind. New tracks, new car dynamics, new data. HMD Motorsports gave her a teammate-rich environment, reams of sensors, telemetry data she'd rarely seen in stock cars. She would have to relearn driving. The move was bold, but that's what she wanted. Hailie's move wasn't just a change, it was a bold step. She could have stayed in NASCAR, but she chose open-wheel racing to challenge herself and grow. The Indy NXT schedule is shorter, giving her more time to train and improve. For someone used to fighting for every inch, this was a chance to reset and aim even higher. Being a woman in racing still matters because bias is real. Hailie's early wins brought attention, but also more pressure. Every mistake was judged harder. She's talked about this, but instead of letting it stop her, she used it as fuel. With a big name, social media spotlight, and the weight of sponsors, racing wasn't just about speed, it was about survival. Changing the series gave her more control. Now she's the one writing the story. Hailie is still young, with many years ahead. She's left the familiar world of NASCAR and is now taking on open-wheel racing. It won't be easy, but she has the talent and support. Her goal is simple: learn fast, get results, and prove she belongs. Her move also sends a bigger message: if one door closes, you can still create your own path. That's exactly what she's doing. For fans and followers, this is the moment to pay attention. Hailie made history once, and now she's chasing something even bigger. Her focus is on open wheel, and she's aiming for the top. The big question is, can she go all the way? Hailie's story began with dirt bikes and karts, moved through the male-dominated world of NASCAR, and now into the fast, demanding world of open-wheel racing. She made bold choices, took risks, and refused to stay comfortable. She left what many drivers would cling to, all because she believed in growing, not settling. When her car hits the track again, it's not just about racing, it's about showing the world who she really is. And for all of us watching, that's the ride worth riding.
Here we go, turn 7, little contact, if any. Van Gisbergen's trying to squeeze, there was definite contact there. You know how much these guys want the win.
Larson's super aggressive right here.
Yep, he's not taking this contact lightly.
Oh my
I don't think he
goodness.
liked the late move into the hairpin.
Shane Van Gisbergen just won again, but what happened during that race left everyone talking. While battling Kyle Larson, fans noticed something different. The racing felt faster, tougher, and more exciting. What changed? It wasn't just the drivers. A quiet switch in tires may have saved the entire season, and now fans want to know, did Goodyear just fix NASCAR without anyone realizing it? The early part of the season exposed a major flaw. The tires simply weren't wearing out fast enough. With minimal fall-off, drivers didn't have to manage their rubber. Long green flag runs saw cars holding pace for far too long. Strategy barely mattered, and races turned into single-lane processions. Even historically exciting tracks like Bristol and Kansas failed to deliver the level of unpredictability fans craved. Analysts, fans, and even veteran drivers pointed to one key issue: the tires. That all began to shift at Bristol. Goodyear brought a softer compound that finally introduced meaningful fall-off. Tire wear came back into the equation, and suddenly, the racing came alive. Drivers had to manage their pace, pick moments to push, and think long-term. Strategy returned to pit road. The result wasn't just better racing, it was chaotic, unpredictable, and thrilling. It was everything NASCAR had been missing. Then came New Hampshire, and the trend continued. At Kansas, strategy exploded into the spotlight. In overtime, Chase Elliott charged from 10th to 1st on fresher tires. It was the kind of late-race drama fans had been starving for. Pit calls mattered, fresh tires were golden. And then came the biggest shift yet, the Charlotte Roval. At the Roval, everything clicked. The tire fall-off was extreme, making every lap a test of control and endurance. Shane Van Gisbergen led 57 laps, took control early, and never let go. His margin of victory? Over 15 seconds ahead of Kyle Larson and Christopher Bell. But it wasn't a blowout, it was a war of tactics. SVG had to fend off constant pressure, especially from Larson. On fresher tires, Van Gisbergen made a bold move into turn 7. He bumped Larson, hoping for space, but instead lit a fuse. "I thought he was going to give me some space," SVG said. Then straight away, switch flipped. He was angry. Swiped at me. It was pretty aggressive from there on. Larson didn't back down. He later said Van Gisbergen had been toying with them all day. Once the contact happened, he made it clear the gloves were off. The two went door to door, rubbing panels and trading paint in one of the most intense on-track battles of the season. The drama wasn't scripted. It was pressure, pride, and playoff desperation coming to a head under real racing conditions. The shift in tire behavior is what made that moment possible. With high fall-off, fresher tires meant real performance gaps. Van Gisbergen had grip, Larson had pride, the combination created fire. For fans, it was everything the season had been lacking, a true fight between elite drivers, amplified by strategy and tire wear. But it wasn't just about SVG and Larson. The entire Roval race showed how different things had become. Lead changes happened organically. Pit strategy flipped the field. Crew chiefs had to gamble. Drivers had to conserve or risk everything. It was no longer just about raw speed. Now, it was about who could balance aggression with control. Ross Chastain's downfall was a cautionary tale. With his playoff life on the line, he made a series of critical errors. He missed the pit exit turn, then got hit with a speeding penalty. Even with fresher tires, he couldn't climb back through the field. The new tire environment magnified every mistake. What might have been a recoverable slip in the old format became fatal under high fall-off conditions. Shane Van Gisbergen's dominance isn't just about speed, it's about adapting. He's now won 5 races this season, all on road courses. But what's more impressive is how he reads the track, the tires, and the moment. While other drivers struggle to adjust, SVG thrives. He doesn't just drive fast, he manages wear, controls pace, and times his moves with precision.